Good morning, everyone. This is Tanya from the Hood Table, from Tanya's Primetime TV Media Reviews, and also from Tanya's Delight Slice. And today, you guys are going to watch me make and prepare a Cookie Monster cake for a baby shower, which is for later this afternoon. And the Cookie Monster cake that we're going to make, the outside of the cake, we're going to use buttercream frosting to design the Cookie Monster cake, but on the inside of the cake is going to be full of homemade cookie dough. So what we're going to do right now, first of all, I would like you guys to please do me a favor, support the video by liking it, sharing it, and also subscribing to the channel, to the Hood Table, Tanya's Primetime TV Media Reviews, and to Tanya's Delight Slice. I have 3 YouTube channels. They each have a Facebook page, Twitter page, and Instagram as well. So please and thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. And first off, what we're going to do is make the cake. And then after we make the cake, I'm going to give it time to cool off. And then we're going to make the cookie dough. And then we're going to put the cake together. So first thing first, you guys, we're going to start off with our ingredients. I have most of my ingredients off to the side so you can't see them. What I have in here right now, though, is sugar. And the first thing that we're using is sugar, 2 cups of sugar. And this is to make the cake. And then we're going to use, on top of the sugar, we're going to use 1 3/4 cup of flour. I have the flour right here. Put the flour in there. And then after the flour, we're going to put in 3/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa. So we have our cocoa. And then after that, we're going to put in our baking soda, and that's 1.5 teaspoons. And here's that's the baking powder, baking soda. And I already have my teaspoons in here to make it a little bit easier. And these are actually half teaspoons, so I need 1.5. So I'm gonna put 3 of these in there. That's a half. That's 1. That makes 1.5. And then also for the baking powder, we're going to do 1.5. And again, I have a teaspoon already in here. So 1. That was 1/2. Here's 1. And then that makes 1.5. Then we're going to put in our salt. And I have an extra teaspoon here sitting on the counter. We need 1 teaspoon salt. And again, I have halves. I don't know where's all my 1 teaspoons. I have all these half teaspoons. So 2 of those make 1 teaspoon. And then what we're going to do is settle it in there like this. And we just want to mix it up. So you can just put it on low. Okay, that's pretty much combined. You just want to mix it till it's combined. Knock it off the there. And then what we're going to do, you guys, we're going to add in some eggs. And we just need 2 eggs. I have my 2 eggs right here. And I already have them in a bowl because one thing I don't like to do, or I try not to do, is crack the eggs over in my mix, in my ingredients, because sometimes it does happen. A piece of shell or something, no matter how hard you try not to get a shell in there, sometimes it gets in there, then you got to get it out. So we're going to put our eggs in here. Then we have some milk. Let me go grab my milk. And we got 1 cup. So 1 cup of milk. And then we're going to put in some vegetable oil. So 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. I have my 1/4 teaspoon here. So 2 of these 4ths equal 1/2. And then I'm going to add my vanilla extract. And we're going to use for the vanilla extract, we're going to use 1.5 teaspoons. And again, I have a half. I don't know if you can see that really well. So I put 3 in there because I had a half to make 1.5. And actually, I'm sorry. We need 2 teaspoons. I'm sorry. So let me throw another half in there. So again, the ingredients for the cake: 2 cups of sugar, 1 3/4 cup of flour, 3/4 of unsweetened cocoa, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 large eggs, 1 cup of milk, a half a cup of vegetable oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and the last ingredient, you guys, is 1 cup of very hot, strong coffee. So let me grab that over here. I have it in a coffee cup, of course, because it's hot. Gonna mix that on low. Don't never mix it on high at first because you don't want all your ingredients flying all over the place. And then after it's mixed pretty well, I increase it on medium. And then, like halfway through, I like to scrape the sides. Just scrape the sides just to make sure everything is very well incorporated in the mix. Then start it back up. And now, as you can see, the cake looks very thin, and that's exactly the way that you want it. The coffee thins it out a bit and adds it a little mocha to the flavor. So now that looks like it's all mixed in pretty well, we're gonna divide this into 2 9-inch cake pans. Make sure you spray, if you use baking spray like I do, make sure you spray the entire cake pans, both of the 9-inch pans. If you use, some people like to use flour and the vegetable oil, the hard vegetable oil, the solid vegetable oil, I should say. If you do that, of course, grease the entire pan and then sprinkle you some flour across the bottom of the pan. But I like to use cooking spray. And I'm gonna move some of my stuff out the way, and I'm going to grab my 2 bake pans, and I already sprayed them down. So basically what I do usually, whether I'm using 2 pans, 3 pans, 4 pans, whatever, I like to try to just go one at a time, back and forth, trying to put the same amount in each one as possible. And I do this. Some people like to measure each one. Me, instead of using not a measuring cup, but using well, I guess it is a measuring cup, and putting like a cup in one, a cup in the other, a cup in one, a cup in the other, or they do, something like that. Me, I just prefer the back and forth technique, and this works out pretty good for me. And you still get like a even amount in both. Okay. And so as you can see here, I'm sorry, I didn't even realize that the screen wasn't really clear. So as you can see here, I have 2 pans of the chocolate cake. I'm going to put these in the oven. And you want to have your oven preheated to 350 degrees, which is what you bake most cakes on. And then we're going to bake this cake for 30 to 35 minutes until the cake is set and until you can either put a toothpick in it or put a fork in it and it comes out clean. That's how I usually test my cakes. So after these cakes are done, after they are cooled off, I'm going to come back, you guys, and we're going to make the cookie dough for the inside filling. Okay, now it is time to make the homemade cookie dough for the filling of this Cookie Monster cake. And first off, I'll show you what's in here. I have 1.5 sticks of butter, which is 3/4 stick of butter. So to that, we're going to add some sugar. And how much sugar? 3/4 cup of sugar. We're going to blend this till it's nice and creamy and smooth. Stop it just so we can move around some of this sugar that's sitting down at the bottom. So just kind of mix some of that sugar around with the butter. Then we're going to put it back under there. Okay. Then we're going to add some milk and we're going to add some vanilla extract. And I already have my milk over here to the side. And the amount of milk that we're going to add is 3 tablespoons of milk. So I'm going to pour that in there. And then for the vanilla extract, we need 1.5 teaspoons. And this is a half teaspoon spoon. So 1, 2, 3. That is 1.5 teaspoons. And then we're just going to blend this. Just until it's smooth. And again, after mixing it for a minute, I'm going to use my little spatula just to incorporate. Let's mix that till it's nice and smooth. Okay. Now that we got the milk, the vanilla, we also have the sugar and the butter. Now what we're going to do is mix in our flour. And we have 1.5 cups of flour. And also, you guys didn't see me, but I actually added some brown sugar as well to the sugar and to the butter. And for the brown sugar, you need 3/4 of brown sugar as well. So 3/4 of brown sugar and 3/4 cup of brown sugar and 3/4 cup of regular sugar. Now we also just added the flour in here. So I'm gonna just use the spatula to scrape around a little bit of what's on the side, a little bit of the flour. It's coming together nice, y'all. Coming together nice. And the last ingredient we're gonna add. Gotta have the chocolate chips for the cookie dough. Gotta have the chocolate chips, y'all. And for the chocolate chips, I use the tiny Nestle chocolate chips, the mini chocolate chips, and we're using 1.5 cups. So we're gonna pour that in there. And we're gonna stir it until it's well combined. And again, usually halfway between anything I'm mixing, I just scrape down the sides, help everything incorporate and get mixed up really well. Okay, that is the cookie dough that we're going to put in between the cake. Scrape some of that off of there, let you see what it looks like. Yummy, 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 yummy. Hopefully you guys can see it pretty well. Okay, we are back. And we have our cookie dough. And we have one layer of the 2 9-inch round layer cakes that we're using to make this Cookie Monster cake. So, first thing first, we're going to take the cookie dough that we made earlier, and we're going to scoop some spoonfuls on here, spread it around as evenly as possible. And by the way, the cookie dough smells so good. The cake too. Something about homemade cakes compared to store-bought cakes, there is no comparison. There is no comparison. Now we're going to have some cookie dough left over. You can do with whatever you want with the cookie dough that's left over. But the cookie dough and the cake, we just want to, not a huge layer of frosting, because we do know that cookie dough is really thick, really rich. But we definitely want enough on there for a nice filling. Just get it all kind of evenly layered. Try not to have some on the side. Okay. Like it's about all evenly layered there. So I'm going to take this cookie dough and I'm going to put this to the side. And then we have our other cake, the top layer, that we are going to put on the cake. And now that we have our cake put together, we are going to frost it. And you see I have some blue frosting that I colored earlier. So we're going to coat the entire cake with a layer of blue frosting. And as you can see, I placed a smiley face on the cake made out of fondant. And now we're going to pipe the frosting onto the cake to make the fur. And we were just going to use a large grass tip. And we're just going to go around the bottom side of the cake. Do the bottom border first. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. And you can see some of the cookie dough coming out the side, which is okay. It's all gonna get eaten, y'all. It's all gonna get eaten. So we got the bottom row done. Now we're just gonna start on the next row. we are going to start on the top of the cake with the blue fur. But I'm not going to do this over here yet because I'm going to put some white eyeballs over there. So I'm going to just fill in around the mouth. Do the back of the cake, just the top border before we apply the eyes. I have 2 circle fondant pieces that I made earlier. I'll put one right here. Put one right here. And then I have some blue circle balls I made earlier that I'm going to use for the eyeballs. Put a little And then now that we got the eyes on there and the eyeballs, and you see the eyeballs are cross-eyed because it's a baby Cookie Monster. So the eyeballs are cross-eyed. But I'm going to show you a better glimpse after I finish putting the rest of this frosting on here. For the rest of the fur. Go around the eyeballs. Try not to get any fur on the inside of the eyeball. Just want to get around it. Okay. All right, I think we did pretty good. Didn't get inside the eyeballs. Making sure all the frosting looks pretty even all the way around. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it. Cute, cute. And last but not least, everyone, we done put a cookie in the mouth of the cake. See there? Cookie monster. All right, everybody. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And remember, I have 3 channels: Tanya's Primetime TV Media Reviews, Tanya's Delight Slice by Slice, and the Hood Table. So please make sure you subscribe to all 3 channels. And in the meantime and in between time, stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out.